Jimmy Coonan, he comes out of prison, and he's immediately kind of recruited by this guy named Roy DeMeo. And Roy DeMeo is kind of up and coming. I'm not sure if he was like a made man yet. He might have still been an associate. This was probably 76, maybe.
Oh, he's definitely made by 76.
Yeah.
Because he's dead in 82. And he was a captain when he died.
No, he was a soldier.
He was never a captain?
He was never a captain.
Shit, my bad. He definitely, was captain adjacent.
He's captain adjacent, especially because he was...
Damn.
He was never a captain.
Okay.
But he was making more money than most of the captains.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was making it. Roy DeMeo was in Canarsie, Brooklyn. He basically owned the biggest auto theft ring.
How the fuck did they not make him a captain?
I'll tell you why.
He had his own crew.
I'll tell you why. Because Paul Castellano, who was the boss, did not like him.
That genius.
Did not like him. He was also Napoli Don. His family was from Naples.
Right.
And at that time...
Supposed to be...
You're not allowed to be a captain unless you're Sicilian. And Paul Castellano kind of uses this as an excuse to not make Roy DeMeo a captain, which was really a slap in the face because around that same time that Roy DeMeo becomes a made man, they make John Gotti a captain, who is not Sicilian. So Roy saw this as like a slap in the face, but also like he really didn't have like his interest was in making money. His interest wasn't really of rising up the hierarchy.
He respected the mafia code to a degree. I mean, to a large degree, but he also
not really.
No, but he believed in like the rules as far as like respect goes. Like I know that he did like porn and like I guess he did drugs.
He was a massive heroin distributor.
So not as far as that goes, but they all fucking rub, you know.
He also had a murder for hire scheme, which you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
And he was also planning on killing the boss, which you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
So he didn't. He wasn't. But anyway, Roy DeMeo is trying to make a name for himself in the Gambino crime family. He knows that the West Side Irish mob has always kind of been difficult for the Italians. It was kind of this area that, you know, while they had controlled pretty much all the city and most of New Jersey, the Irish really just held on to the West Side docks of Manhattan, specifically in Hell's Kitchen, because when you talk about Eddie McGrath and the bootleggers, they controlled pretty much the entire West Side. From Greenwich Village up to Hell's Kitchen. By the time of Mickey Spillane, the Irish mob really were only in Hell's Kitchen. And the Westies never really got bigger than Hell's Kitchen. So they know that, one, the Italians have always had a problem with the Irish on the West Side. They were never able to go in. There's like a little bit of an alliance between the Irish mob and the Genovese family, where... dating back to Prohibition, dating back to Owen Madden, who was good friends with Lucky Luciano, who kind of started the Genovese family. When Lucky Luciano was kind of creating the five families in general, he actually wanted Owen Madden to join, and basically the Irish mob would have been the sixth family. But the other bosses told him no, we want to keep this 100% Italian. So there was kind of a long-standing connection between the Irish mob and the Genovese family. So
how did that work when the Gambinos started working with the Westies? Okay, here's the thing: the Westies and the Irish mob that was working with the Genovese family were not the same. They
were not the same.
Exactly. That was the Spillane and before.
They were not the same.
Exactly.
But
that's why the Westies never had a relationship like that. That relationship, in other words, didn't cross over.
No, but when the Westies come up with this plan to take out Mickey Spillane, this is what they did. They said, we're going to be the organized crime presence in Hell's Kitchen. We're an alliance with the Gambino, but you guys can have the Jacob Javits Center. And that was enough to just keep the Genovese family happy.
Oh,
because that's what
did the Gambinos get okay that?
The Gambinos were fine, I'm assuming, because nothing ever happened with it afterwards. But that was their agreement with the Genovese family, was that, we're the new Irish mob in Hell's Kitchen. We're not with you. We're with the Gambinos. But the Jacob Javits Center, which is what you really wanted from the beginning, is yours.
The Westies were the independent record label who had distribution through the Gambino crime family.
Sure. Around this time, kind of Mickey Featherstone joins the gang. Mickey Featherstone he's also a violent psychopath, but in the way that it's this guy should have been in a hospital.
Dude, you ever see pictures of him?
He looks like a crazy person. He apparently
I was going to say, there's one photo of him, he straight up looks like dad.
Oh,
you ever see the photo where no, it's not he looks good. He's got, but dad and him
I remember when dad used to have long hair.
He had hair like this, and he's the same beard, and his head is just down like that. And they were probably the same age. They were probably in their 20s, in the late 70s or something. And it's just funny.
Mickey Featherstone is a Vietnam vet who, I guess he was discharged for mental health reasons. He spent a bunch of time in mental institutions, and
what a nightmare.
And Jimmy Coonan basically he basically took advantage of this guy, where there's this guy who wasn't really mentally fit, and Jimmy Coonan kind of trains him to be his basically enforcer.
Yeah,
he
it's like a people pro thing.
Yeah, people know that he's a crazy person in the area. A lot of people are scared of him because they've heard stories of Mickey Featherstone,
and he just molded that into.
And he molded that.
What he wanted to do.
You see, through a lot of their relationship,
chaos. I said COINTELPRO. I meant chaos. Taking someone who's just mentally fucked from war or something, or
and turning them into a violent assassin for you. But through a lot of Jimmy Coonan and Mickey Featherstone's relationship, it's Jimmy Coonan kind of taking advantage of Mickey Featherstone. He knows that this is a guy who's not really mentally well, who can be easily convinced of doing things.
Right.
And then one of the first big things that Jimmy Coonan does is they take out this guy named Ruby Stein. Mm-hmm. And Ruby Stein is a gangster. He's connected to the Genovese family, and Ruby Stein was basically the biggest loan shark in Manhattan at that time. And the Westies and a lot of the Irish criminals on the West Side had kind of built up a large amount of debt with Ruby Stein. And they decide that they are going to kill Ruby Stein. And they do it along with this guy named Danny Grillo, who's a hitman for Roy DeMeo. Mm-hmm. And they all take Ruby Stein into the bar. It's Jimmy Coonan, Danny Grillo, and two others. And they all take one gun and put one bullet into Ruby Stein themselves. So it's we're all in this together.
Well, it's not as much inspirational as it is we're murdering someone. Yeah, you're connected to this crime now.
But
you're implicit.
But the Westies basically not only is now their debt to this guy gone, they go around to everyone they collected money from, and was you owe this to us now.
Damn, that's savage.
Yeah.
So they wiped out their own debts and then got
wiped out their own debts, and then they found basically his black book.
Right.
That he wrote down how much everybody owed him, and they went around and said, you owe this to us now. And by that, the Westies and Jimmy Coonan basically became the biggest loan sharks in Manhattan. and they were now working for the Gambinos. Somehow, like Paul Castellano kind of.
Oh wait, that hit on Ruby Stein was also involving Italians.
Was also Italian.
So did they get a
Danny
piece
Grillo. Yes.
The Westies didn't get the whole book. The whole loan
I
shark
believe
book.
that the Westies got the whole book, but the Westies were giving like 10%
points
back to the Gambinos.
Right. There's always something.
There's always something. And accounts differ of who was really behind the Ruby Stein murder. In the Westies, it makes it seem like it was Jimmy Coonan's idea. In the book Murder Machine, it makes it seem like it was Roy DeMeo's idea.
And again, this is the problem you outlined with sources and
of like, this is a loan shark who's connected to our rival family. Let's get this new gang that's connected to our family to take him out.
Right.
And now, since they're the biggest loan sharks, now the biggest loan sharks work for us rather than our rival family.
Yeah.